Let's continue on where we left off. We have eliminated the large triangle as being necessary to solve this. We're looking at just the medium-sized triangle and the small one. And the medium-sized triangle, x is opposite of the smallest angle. So we're going to go x is to 8. 8 is the side opposite of the smallest angle in the small triangle. X is to 8 as 18 is to x. 18 is to x. And again, stop before you try and solve this. See if you have that message here saying, hey, I've got it set up right. We've got a cross product of 8 and 18, and another one, x and x. Remember, if one of these is the exact same thing, then that's almost a certainty that you've set it up right. So in this case, we'll do x times x. X times x, of course, is going to give us x squared. And that's going to equal 8 times 18. 8 times 18 is 144. We solve this by taking the square root of both sides. This would mean that x equals 12, and we're done. Let's do our next one. First step, redraw our triangles. Our large triangle, right angle here. Our smallest angle is here. Our smallest angle is there. The medium-sized triangle. Right angle here. This one was our large one, medium one, and here's our smallest angle. And then the small triangle look like this. There's our right angle. Here's our smallest angle in the smallest triangle. Now let's label it with what we know. This time we've introduced a y in here. No worry. Let's just label as we know first. So in the large one, this is y, and this is x. This whole hypotenuse is 9 plus 3, which is 12. In the medium-sized one, y is here. We don't know what this length there is, so we're going to leave that blank. This side here is 9, and then the small one, we'll see that this is 3, this is x, and again, a side we don't know. Now in this one, I told you before, we only use 2 triangles to solve, but that's 2 triangles to solve one variable. This time we have 2 variables, so we're not going to cross one of them out completely. We're just got to decide which one you want to solve for first. And I'm just going to go ahead and choose x. So to solve for x, you'll see I'm not going to use the medium triangle at all. I'm going to forget about that one. Not necessary to solve this. So I'm just going to look at the large one and the small one. And in the large one, the side that is opposite the smallest angle is x. So x is to the side opposite the smallest angle in the small one, 3, as, x over here in the small one is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to choose the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse here is 12. Hypotenuse here is x. I've got to get this set up right. I'm going from the large to small, so this will be 12 is to x. You'll see that again, I have this key, this kind of message from God that tells me, hey, I've got this right because x is across from x. I'll do x times x, which will be x squared, 3 times 12, which is 36. Square root both sides, and the square root of 36 is 6. X is going to equal 6. If I didn't have y, I'd just move on to the next problem, but this one requires that I do another step. I need to solve for y also. And like we did with x, we only used 2 of the triangles. You'll see this one doesn't have a y in it. We're going to not use the small triangle at all to solve for y. We're just going to use the large one and the medium-sized one. So first of all, I'll just go from the medium to the large this time. I'll start out with y. You'll see that y is the hypotenuse from the medium one. I'll go to the hypotenuse in the large one, which is 12, and write y is to 12, medium to large, as 9 9 is not the smallest, opposite the smallest angle, it's opposite the medium-sized angle. So 9 is to, let's go over here, opposite the small is x, opposite the medium one is y. And again, do you see where we have this set up right? We know for sure because we have a y across from a y times y, of course, would be y squared. 9 times 12 is 108. We would square root both sides. This time we end up with a decimal. It's okay. We'll round that to 2 decimals, and it's about 10.39 would be the length of y. Let's do one more. We'll go through this one quickly. All 3 triangles. Large one, right angle here, smallest angle up there. Our medium-sized one, right angle here, smallest angle up there. Our smallest triangle, right angle here, and this angle here is going to be the smallest angle. Our large, medium, and small. Label them with what we know. In the small one, this is x, this is 5. In the medium one, this is y, this is 11. In the large one, we know that this is x. We don't know what this length here is, but this one is 16. Let's solve for x first. In the small one, you'll see that x is our hypotenuse. X, the hypotenuse in the small one. Not going to use the medium one. Let's jump to the large one. The hypotenuse in the large one is 16. So x is to 16 as the side opposite the small one, 5. The side opposite the small one, x, x, and x. We've got it made. X times x is x squared. 16 times 5 is 80. Take the square root of both sides. We get approximately 8.94. Let's do y. Y is going to use the medium one. So y is, a little bit of trouble here. You'll see that when I'm looking here, I don't have another one with a y in it. Which leads me to say, hey, I've got a little bit of problem. I do need another side in one of these. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find this side by using my Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A, you'll see, is this side here, which is y. I forgot to mark that on there. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought here. I could use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for y in this one, or I could use, I'm just going to use Pythagorean theorem. Sorry about that, leading you a little bit astray here. But you'll see, once we know that this is x, we really don't need that medium triangle. What we could do is go ahead and use our Pythagorean theorem here. In our Pythagorean theorem, we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If I make a, y, and b, 5, and then we just got over here our value of x as 8.94. It's going to be approximate. We're going to be off by a little bit because we rounded that. But if we square this 25 and square that, subtract or square 5, we'll get 25. Square this and subtract 25 from it. We'll get 54.92. Take the square root of both sides, and we get approximately 7.41. So, again, on this last one, since we had found this length here, a little shortcut, we could just go right back to our Pythagorean theorem to solve for that missing value.